All right. Ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Ooh, well, that's not good. Can't have that. Shopping. All right. What is going on, y'all? Welcome back to the Running and Gunning podcast with your host, Justin Sinan. Stoked to have you joining us tonight. As you guys can tell, if you're watching on YouTube, I've got my good buddy, Matt Dale, with me. We have been sharing the turkey woods together for the past, 4 days now. And we have had our tails kicked. Pretty solid. Yeah, we've had a lot of fun. Had some really close encounters. It's just it's been a tough time, and I learned a ton hunting with you, Matt. I had no idea. I feel like I'm kind of an amateur. I'm an amateur turkey hunter. I've killed turkeys and had good success with it, but man, I've never really surrounded myself with good turkey hunters. So I feel like a brand new turkey hunter again, and I've gained so much knowledge. And for those of you guys listening to this one, you're going to walk away with a lot. There's so many good nuggets that we're going to get into on this one, and I'm excited. But what's going on, man?
Pretty good. Just tired.
Tired? I know.
And I still got a month to go.
Yes,
this
sir.
is May the 1st, I think, today, and here we are. I got about 30 days to go before my season's over, and then, man. But I was telling Justin, this is not foreign to me this week. In fact, when we met at NWTF in February, this was the only weekend we had available to hunt. And what did I tell you?
Yeah, he's like, oh boy, that's not going to be fun.
Yeah, that's what I told him.
Yeah.
I said, oh God.
That's like probably the worst week. And I'm like, what is he talking about?
Yeah.
Really? Like, I don't know. We'll be good. I have no problem, getting us on turkeys. I said, I know where some birds are at, and I know how good of a hunter he is. So I didn't think it would be an issue at all. But yeah, he was 100% right. I would say from the whitetail perspective of me, like the whitetail side of me, it's like the October lull, kind of like the weird period, for turkey season.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to break that down for you guys and kind of get into, Matt, how long have you been doing this now? A little background. Some of our listeners might know who you are, but if not.
You mean the YouTube or turkey hunting?
Just in general.
I've been turkey hunting this is my 31st season. So it's been a long time. I started when I was 17. I killed my first turkey when I was 12.
Okay.
But my dad called it in for me. It was a Jake, and but he turkey hunted. He turkey hunted since 69. So he was one of the old line turkey hunters. So I grew up around it. But I killed my first one when I was 12, but I just didn't care for it. It was too hard. It was like always set still. This is before ground blinds. This is before chairs and ground blinds. Set still. Don't move. Don't do it. And he started me out with this 30-inch long 870 Wingmaster 2 and 3, turkey, and it was like, it was just awkward, So my experience early was not good. Yeah. It was just, and he wasn't like a bad mentor. It was just, he was not as patient,
right?
Because it was just a different time.
Yeah.
And but I killed my first one when I was 12, and then I killed a fall turkey that fall, a hen, and I quit after that. That's it. I didn't, 13, 14, 15, 16, for 4 years, he went fishing, or he went hunting, and I went fishing.
Yeah. And
I dropped him off a lot of times. I was out, 13, 14 years old, driving a boat, and I'd drop him off in the back of a cove. He'd go up turkey hunting, I'd be down there fishing,
Mm-hmm.
And so then but I grew up around it. I grew up around calling. I knew the calls. I knew the yelps, the clucks, the purrs, because I grew up around it. And I could even run a mouth call, sort of. I could yelp on one even at a young age. But I was about 17 when I killed my first longbeard, but I called it in.
Nice.
It was just one of them suicidal turkeys. The ones that's just you could be a horrible caller and he's just gonna come in.
Yeah.
It's just one of them easy turkeys. I didn't know it at the time, but I killed him at 10:30 in the morning, and it was just one of them 10:30. And I went that year. I went hunting after all them years of absence. I just thought, well, I'm gonna get one more try, and went by myself, called one in, and after that one, man, seeing that gobbler come in strutting and spitting and drumming and running in my lap just after like a few calls. Because I remember that one, he gobbled way over in the side of this field, and I yelped to him, and I couldn't, all I could do was like, meow, 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 meow. And he gobbled. And I went up there and I got a little bit closer. Meow, meow, meow. Oh, boy, he gobbled. Meow, meow, meow. I just called going to him, and he was coming this way, and I was going that way, and we just kind of met, Yeah. And, man, he gobbled right on top of me, and I remember just sitting down, and, man, it wasn't just 5 minutes later. I seen that big old fan coming up that fence line, and I'm telling you, I went to pieces. Like I'd killed some, and I'd killed, of course I've been deer hunting, well, I've been deer hunting longer than I've been turkey hunting because I started deer hunting when I was 11 years old, and I loved deer hunting. And so deer hunting was kind of my passion during my teenage years. And then, man, when I killed that first gobbler, that's it. That is all she wrote. It became an obsession. Yeah. But I think it took me doing it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I started out and sort of had a bad experience. It took me doing it by myself. Mm-hmm. And after that,
you're like hooked.
I was hooked, man. I mean, deer hunting took a second place. It really did. And I loved deer hunt, but, and then I just got obsessed with learning about turkeys, learning their behavior, learning their calling, because I knew there was more to it than just a cluck and a yelp and a purr and all that stuff. And that basic stuff will kill you, turkey, the right turkey.
Right. The right turkey.
The right turkey. But you're going to find a lot of turkeys that is not the right turkey. Yeah. But the main thing about turkey hunting, and I think a lot of people get caught up in calling, and calling's important, don't get me wrong. Calling, I mean, you need to be a good caller. You need to get better every year at just different stages of calling. But I've told you this week, it ain't calling. It's what? Setup.
That's right.
Is everything.
Yeah.
Because we have got so close so many times to kill turkeys. I mean, every day we've got close to turkeys and gobblers, but it's just been the wrong setup because of the property. It was just
that, and I think just having me there trying to film, having two people. If it would have just been
if it had just been me, I would have crawled up on that one in that corner and probably killed him. But you're trying to film it, you're trying to get it on film, and I'll tell you what, a camera has saved a lot of turkeys' lives. Yes. It's saved a lot of turkeys' lives, believe me.
And for those of you guys that don't know Matt, if this is your first time hearing about him, he has got an excellent YouTube channel, and that's actually how I've learned about you. At a younger age, I didn't have a mentor for turkey hunting. My dad never did. No one in my family ever turkey hunted. Almost none of my friends turkey hunted. And we didn't have many birds to go after where I was living in Maryland. So you taught me pretty much everything I knew for a base knowledge to go into it. And man, when I bumped into you in Nashville, it wasn't like I was starstruck, but man, it was such an honor to meet you because I just wanted to thank you. And those of you guys, you need to subscribe to his channel if you're not already. It is just the best educational turkey videos that are out there, I would say.
I appreciate it. My channel's different, and I made it that way. I really started uploading on YouTube. YouTube started in 2005, I think is when it started. And, but I started uploading videos like in 2008, but it wasn't like for series. I don't think I even edited. It was just like off the phone or off the camcorder. And I didn't even edit. I didn't know how to edit nothing.
Yeah.
So like I just filmed something and put 2 or 3 minutes up or 4 minutes. I didn't know what I was doing. And, but then about 2009 or 10 or something like that, I started doing some like hunting turkey. They ain't on there now because they were so bad. They weren't on there now. I've deleted most of that stuff when I started it for real. But years ago, I had some hunts on there, and you might see a part of a turkey just at the end of the screen, and pow! It was like, or you just hear one over the hill, and pow! And
it's tough. It's tough.
Oh, it's terrible. And so I tried to do what everybody else does and upload hunts. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't get which I didn't know much about subscribers or viewers or nothing. I was just doing it for fun.
Yeah.
And I was posting like 3 or 4 or 5 videos a year. And then I think it was 2010, if I remember right, it was 2010. Before turkey season, I just thought I'm gonna just do like some like teaching, because I grew up at a time where hunting videos was all we had. Right. It was VHS. You went to your local mom and pop shop, rented hunting video,
or unless you had a seminar or something.
Right. A seminar. And so of course I learned a lot from my dad. My dad, like I said, was a turkey hunter, deer hunter. So he was like, taught me a lot of stuff, taught me a lot of woodsmanship stuff, but he wasn't, and I don't think he cared for me saying this. He wasn't like the greatest caller.
Yeah.
I mean, he could yelp and he could do like stuff and but he wasn't like, a tremendous caller. And, but he just knew the woods, and he knew how to get in front of them. He knew how to ambush them. He knew how to,
reading turkeys.
He knew how to read turkeys. So he taught me a lot of that. Well, when I started turkey hunting, man, I got obsessed with it. So I found everything I could find on turkey hunting, Yeah. And so a lot of your old videos they had like 3 or 4 kills.
Okay.
And it was 60 minutes of what I do now.
Yeah.
It was just, whoever the host was, whether it was Drury's or Quaker Boy or whoever it was, they were teaching on how to kill turkeys. Well, that's changed now. It's all went into, entertainment, hunting and all that. And
some of it, honestly, like, not to discredit anybody, but some of it isn't reality.
No,
you're not actually seeing what played out. You're seeing a little edited version of
2 minutes of a hunt.
Oh, well, we just killed one and we didn't call to him at all, but we got sponsors, so we need to make sure we get you calling and doing this. Right. And
they go back and recreate it.
You think that's how it happened?
Oh, absolutely. I've told a few of them. I've got the meat, and I'm like, well, I'm fixing y'all's mistakes. After I got knowledge in turkey hunting, like, early 2000s, when I started becoming, like, I ain't gonna say a great turkey hunter. I don't like that word, but when I started getting to where I could kill, quite a few.
Yeah.
I would watch these videos and I'd go, and, this turkey's coming in, like, it's showing them, his field, and they're back there and they got decoys out, and this gobbler's coming in at 80 yards, strutting, and the camera pans to them, and I'm sitting there going, now come on.
Right.
Now, first of all, the cameraman ain't going to move when that turkey's out there. No. And then too, you're not going to call to a turkey when he's 80 yards and he's coming in. I mean, you don't do that. You just let him come looking for you. So there was a lot of things that I thought, okay. But a lot of people didn't know how to turkey hunt. They'd watch that. Then a gobbler come in, they go, well, so-and-so did that. So they're my heroes. So and then the gobbler goes off. So I told some of them, I said, I'm fixing y'all's mistakes. But my channel's a little different, where that I would post hunts back in 10, 11. I'd post hunts and it just wouldn't get no views at all. Like, it's just, 100, 200, 300 views. I didn't have a lot of subscribers in.
Likewise.
And then,
I posted a video on it.
Everybody has their lane. Mm-hmm. But my 4 or 5 educational videos I did, which is me talking about calling, strategies, struts.
Scenarios.
I did one on strut zones, like, way back in the early days, and that thing blew up. And so I quit YouTube. Actually, I moved to Missouri, and I was, but I mean, I'm still a preacher. But I went to Missouri to pastor a church, and that's how I got in North Missouri. And so when I moved out there, our life got busy, church got busy. And I kind of just didn't film nothing. I just kind of gave up YouTube, like in 14, 15, I think 16. I gave it up for like 3 years. Mm-hmm. My brother-in-law, I still credit him for this. Because I think I came into Virginia. I was living in Missouri, but I'm from Virginia. I came home for Christmas, and we was all up at their house and, Christmas stuff. And he's like, hey, you still do it? Now, he's not a hunter. He's like, you still doing them hunting things on YouTube? And I said, no. I said, I ain't done that in 3 years, I bet.
Yeah.
And he said, he said, some of these, because he was looking at it, he said, some of these videos have got like 200,000 hits on it.
And you're like, what?
Yeah, I'm serious. I was like, what? And he's like, they got like 200,000-300,000 hits. And I went, are you kidding me? He's like, you're really good at this. And he's like, you really need to think about, doing this for real, just as a side, So I started looking at them videos, and they had but it was my educational videos. Right. It wasn't the hunting videos. It was the educational one, where I was just talking about strut zones, and they was the ones that was blowing up. Well, and then some of the comments, because I hadn't read the comments in years, and they was like, man, where'd you go? Are you dead? Did you die? Have you went to be with the Lord? Or man, we wish we miss you. All this stuff. And I'm going, and I had I think 1,000 subscribers, maybe not even did at the time. And maybe it was 900. I don't know. It wasn't very much. And but I had all these big videos with a lot of views. Mm-hmm. So long story short, in 2017, that's when I thought, maybe I could do something with it.
Right.
And I wasn't called Dell Outdoors then. It was it was just M Dell 31 or something. And I just thought, so I got a name, and I thought, well, I think you should market your name. Yeah. I know I heard Will Primo say one time, he's like, if you start a company, start it with your name because you brand your name.
Okay.
You know, and I was like, and I remember him saying that. So I thought Liddell Outdoors, and but I was kind of conflicted on whether I wanted to hunt and film hunts because that's what everybody was doing, and I was afraid that if I didn't do that, then
it wouldn't take off.
It wouldn't take off, you know, because we're living in a fast paced society. Everybody's going, you know. Long story short, I just got to thinking, and so all that year of that winter of 17, I watched every turkey channel on YouTube. I watched everybody from small channels, big channels. I watched them all to see what they were doing because you got to try to stand out.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
But the one thing I noticed was nobody was teaching turkey hunting.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, you had occasional videos. Well, here's how you cluck. Here's how you purr. Here's how this thing. Here's how you owl hoot. But nobody was really talking about strut zones or the lockdown or a lot of the scenarios that I've went through over the years. You know, that's helped me kill turkeys. Like I was telling you the other day, like when you walk toward a turkey and then walk back. You know, nobody was talking about that. No. Nobody. And I'm not bragging on myself, but I was the OG when it comes to that. Now, people are doing it now. Other channels are starting to do it. And that's great. I'm glad. But so all my educational videos are blowing up. And I thought, you know what? I need to just be different.
Right.
So I go 70-30. 30% show hunts, 70% education. But the education is what people's looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. So, especially, I mean, I feel like you're going to see more of that and studying throughout the season. They're like, man, I had a gobbler hang up. Oh, here's how to handle a hung up gobbler. You know, and I myself included. I mean, those are the videos where when I'm struggling and I'm like, man, what can I do? And I turn to your channel, and it's like almost every scenario you come across in the woods, this man has got a video for it, and it's awesome.
Well, you know, and every year it gets harder because you're like, there ain't so much you can talk about, man. And you know, when it comes to turkey hunting, and so I struggle every year to try to find new ideals, but you'd be surprised at people that like, you know, message me like I'm like right now in the middle of the season.
I've seen it, man.
I showed him
together.
We sat and I said, look here, and I got this, and I don't care if you're listening, you've done this. I don't care, but just know that I ain't responding quick because I'm hunting myself. You know, it's not, but I'll have these guys say, hey, I got this gobbler doing this, and I can just see these guys sitting under a tree going, I got this gobbler doing this. What should I do? Are you there? What should I do? What should I do? And they're like 700 miles away in some other state, and I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm not there.
Are you in a field? What's the weather like?
Yeah.
What's your scenario?
You know, are you on a bench? Are you in the hardwoods? Are you in national forest? You public land, private? I mean, I don't know.
So many variables.
Yep.
But yeah, so let's dive into, I think, like, you know, where we're at right now. You know, some seasons are just opening up, some are about to open up, some are winding down. You know, we'll start off with the lockdown phase, as you call it, and we have been privy to it this past few days. It's just, I tried to explain to Matt, I'm like, man, I've never seen anything like this because I don't struggle this hard to kill turkeys generally.
But you're usually tagged out by now.
Yeah, well, I am, thank God. But
yeah, thank God,
because I'm fed up with them. They can have it. You know, after the hard season we've had the past few days, I'm like, next year. So I think Matt's going to come down for opener next year, so he don't have to go through this again. But
absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, maybe if you can just break down some of the phases of turkey hunting and what you enjoy most.
I'll break it down in 4 phases. But let me ask you. So what? Before I get into this, because you dealt with the same turkeys I've dealt with the last 4 days. You know these birds. You know this farm. What's the biggest difference in, say, 2 weeks ago and 2 weeks later?
I'll say way more gobbling, way more of them showing themselves.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. I mean, you could hear a tom gobble. I'd let him fly down. I'd call to him, and he would show himself. Even if they hung up, which they would every once in a while, which is totally normal.
Yeah, it's normal.
But I could work them. And I feel like now it's like they come to you, and then they're like, bye. Yeah. Or like this morning, we worked that bird, and I mean, you and I both thought, we both thought for sure he was dead.
He come here, then he showed himself, then he come there and showed himself. I said, well, and then the last time he showed himself, I thought, well, he's coming right up. He's going, and he just next time we heard him an hour later, he's way back down.
So it's the hens, I would say. Yep, I think that the hens are just cutting us off, right?
That's exactly right. So I was in Missouri last week, and I had this turkey. You can watch it on my channel. I had this turkey. I called him off a mountain. I mean, he was on top of the other side. I was in Ozarks. He was in the other side of a mountain in a valley. And I broke this turkey finally after 3 days of hard hunting. I broke this turkey, and man, you know, he coming to me hot. I mean, gobbling hot. I thought this is finally going to happen. And he went from like 600 yards to 200 like quick.
Yeah.
Now, when they come in that quick, you know
they're hot.
They're coming. Mm-hmm. You know, and all of a sudden, right in the middle of me and him.
Next time you heard him gobble,
a hen intercept. Because see, every time they gobble, see, this is what people don't realize. Yeah, I know we like to hear turkeys gobble. We love to hear turkeys gobble. I get it. I understand it. But every time he gobbles, he's attracting predators. He's attracting hunters, which is predators. But he's also attracting hens, because the hens, see, we think about the gobbler wanting to go to the hens, but really the hens go to the gobbler.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We think of, the hen's out here and she's like, don't want to mess with him, so the gobbler's just gobbling. No, it's the opposite. The hens go to the gobbler.
Right.
So when he's gobbling over here, especially this time in the lockdown, this is what I've seen so much in this dreaded week, I call it. I've seen so many jealous hens.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they get jealous. And so when you're back here calling, and
they come quick.
And there's a gobbler, and she knows that gobbler, she will come right and just, I'm serious. I've seen it over and over.
Why do you think it happens now and not early season? Can you explain that?
I think it's because when season opens for most places, they're not locked down with the hens. The hens are just starting to get, right.
Yeah.
Now they may have 2 or 3 hens 2 weeks ago or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it seems like after he breeds them, he'll jump off of them and go to the next thing. Because it's like a whitetail.
Yep.
A whitetail just, he wants to breed as many does as he can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He'll jump one to the other a lot of times. But then as you
got
hit
that little strip where they're just, man, like unless you're right there on top of them, they're going to go down.
You call it, right there in deer season, and it's pretty similar, but you'll have that. It's usually right in the middle of rifle season. You have what they call the lockdown in rifle season, mm-hmm. where it's just, they're bedded, but the does, they ain't moving, it's just it, and you were seeing all these bucks like around here, you were seeing all these deer the October 25th to about November the 10th or 11th. And then when it gets to,
they gone.
20th.
The difference is you can hear the turkeys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I think it's the way it is with turkeys in a lot of ways. I just think the later, now, right in the last part of April for most places, especially the middle part of the country, east part of the country, it's just like they just get locked down with the hens. Now, the good part of it is that given about a good week and a half from now, that's my favorite time turkey hunting. And it's bittersweet because, there ain't but, if you travel like I do, there ain't but like 3 weeks of the season left. Mm-hmm. But them 3 weeks, man, magic. Because when the late season hits, it changes. You watch, and I don't know exactly what day it'll happen. I don't know exactly what, when it'll happen at your place, but it will happen just like that. The hens will start nesting because she's laying eggs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all finding nests. I found nests. Yeah. We find nests with eggs. She's nesting, but she's not laying on that nest
mm-hmm.
constantly. Give it about a week or 2 from now, and she'll fly down. She may feed a little bit, and she hits that nest.
Right.
And she'll be there all day long. You can kick her out of a brush pile, she'll turn around, come right back, and go right back to that nest because she's incubating them eggs. Well, while she's sitting there all day, guess what?
Old boy's looking for love.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so the late season is when them big old 1.5-inch spur gobblers are, that wasn't vocal, that was stupid, wouldn't come in, henned up, say the April the 23rd, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 30th. It's just like 2 weeks from now, bam, you'll go out there and he'll get vocal again and he'll just start mm-hmm. working it because it's that urgency to breed. It's that, they know it's winding down and it's that urgency. It's almost, I kind of compare it to the second rut of whitetails. Only the second rut is not like hardcore chasing and
Yeah.
But a turkey, it's almost like that second adrenaline hits them, and they just come rip roaring in. And like last year, like I will kill on an average year, I will kill maybe 3, and I'm hunting every day from like April 1st all the way to April 30th. And I will maybe kill 3 turkeys.
Yeah.
But switch over to May, and I know last year in 2023, I killed like 3 turkeys in April. And man, for about the next about 3 weeks, I slayed them. I was knocking them out left and right. It's just like bam, 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 all the way to about I think my last hunt was the 27th of May. And it was just like every week it was bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And you're going, why wasn't y'all doing this 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just different. I don't know. But if you're struggling right now, don't freak out. Just if you can hunt, if your state opens and it remains open, like Virginia, it stays open like a couple more weeks. I tell everybody, because I guarantee you, people back home right now, guarantee it. They'll boo and cry, no, just wait.
Why do you think Kentucky's season's so short? I think we only have like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I think
because we don't have the amount of birds, or is it just our,
Missouri's the same way. I don't know. I really don't. I think, honestly, on these, like Missouri, and I know some of you are going to disagree because you're like, oh, I want to hunt now. Yeah, I want to hunt April 1st if I could. But if I was going to have it the way it's set up, I think it'd be better to start it in the lockdown.
Okay.
Really? I mean, start it about April 24th.
Mm-hmm. That way all the hens are able to get bred.
That's what, I mean, I know it would suck, but because we'd have to wait longer,
right?
But it would be better turkey hunting because when if you had another week and a half, I guarantee you we'd go out that farm and tag out in 2 days.
Oh, for sure.
Guaranteed.
I mean, we almost got it done on day one twice.
Guaranteed.
It was exciting. Our first day, we had one that I pretty much kept tabs on, and I'm like, he's been over here regularly, and we just went in there pretty much at daybreak, right there around that time, and sure enough, he's hammering, and we got really close to him. I mean, I thought he was going to come right up the drainage and jump on our lap, but just unfortunate because of setup. Had we been 5 yards to the left,
if I'd been 5 yards, but see, I couldn't move when he popped out at 40 yards. I could have killed him, and we'd have been done back at the house having breakfast,
right.
And it would have been about a 15-minute hunt. But when I seen him over here, I couldn't get moved because without him seeing me, I couldn't. And plus, I'm a right-handed shooter, and it's like I couldn't get like this,
awesome.
And I figured he's just going to walk right up.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. I figured when he came out, he was just going to walk right up.
He came out in a hurry. I mean, it was.
But instead of walking in front of me, he went to the angle and he went that way. But then the second one should have been dead. That should have been a dead turkey.
It was pretty comical because, I felt like the dad yelling at his son, which is just comical. Comical is all get out for me. So I'm to the left, he's to the right of me, and he set up in pretty much like a thicket, but he's against a tree. Yeah. Birds are coming from right to left, and I'm like, get your gun up. Get your gun up.
I couldn't see them.
Yeah, but they were coming across, and I'm filming with my phone, and because I had forgotten my SD card for my nice camera. Anyway, the bird's right there, and I mean, I could have killed him. It was probably maybe, 15 yards at best. Like and something happened. He just, he needed 2 more steps.
2 more steps, but I could see him. I seen him right there I couldn't see him until he got right in the edge. And right here to my right, it was a little bit too much brush, but that's the only place we had to set up. Again, it's setups. Yeah. It's just you're trying to hide 2 people. If I'd have been by myself, I'd have probably set up where you set up. Mm-hmm. But I was thinking, but see, you couldn't set where I set because I'd have had to shoot past you. It would have been a safe situation. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And so I had to sit in front. Mm-hmm. Well, that wall of briars was right there to my
wouldn't have been good footage.
But man, we had a hen decoy out there, and I really thought that he would just, going right to it.
Yeah.
And if he would have took about 2 more steps, he'd have been.
That's another situation thing, man. But I feel like now with this week versus all the other weeks, I mean, normally they would have came in and just stormed that decoy, and they were acting real funky, and they've been real funky towards the decoys. So I'm not sure what to say. I don't think that was anything that I've done weird. I haven't pressured these birds weird. No. It's just their whole mentality, demeanor changes.
And honestly, in 4 days of hunting, we really haven't spooked one turkey. Maybe it's morning. I don't know what that was, but we haven't spooked one turkey. We haven't scared no turkeys. We haven't had none fly up. We haven't had none run. We've been very careful about how we're moving. So I know we're not educated the turkeys, but it goes back to setups. And if all possible, you never want to set up with any obstacle in front of you. Like a lot of people will set up with their gun barrel, or they'll set like this, but right to their left or right, they got a little tree, and they can't. You don't. Why sit there? Get to where you can have range, and it just makes it so important to have the right setup. Don't be skyline. Don't set up on skinny trees if all possible. If you have to set up, like we had to set up even on the real big skinny trees. But what I did, I took my pruning shears and we cut limbs off and just stuck up in the ground, and just kind of break it up a little bit and build you like a little.
I would say go above and beyond to do everything you can to blend yourself in before you call to those birds. Before you do, because every once in a while you're going to have one that you call to him, and that dude is going to come.
He's going to come
quick.
Charging, and especially in the late season. Especially late season, that's what happens a lot. You find, you may not in the late season here in the next couple of weeks. You may not find a lot of vocal roosted turkeys, and I mean I do every once in a while find a gobbling hard, but it seems to me like late season it's more of a 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock.
Really?
And then once you get into that mid morning, if you can get one
to fire up,
he's usually ready to ride in your truck. And but now that's not saying I haven't killed him right off the roost. I have, but in the late season, but it's not as apt. And there's times, man, after you've turkey hunted for 2 months, or a month, and you're wore out, man, there's times when I won't even go out at 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
I'll sleep in. I mean, people's like, "Oh my God, you are to be out there at daylight," and I'll go up there at 8, 9 o'clock and come back 10, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock with turkey.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about it several times this week. It's like a lot of turkey hunters are very opinionated and set in their ways.
Oh Lord.
But so many of them are quick to judge you and say, "Oh, well, you need to be on the roost and you need to kill. You need to do this."
Oh yeah.
For me, like, not having anybody really tell me what to do, I've always had the mentality of scout your birds, especially for us hunting field birds is totally different than hunting them in the hardwoods.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I've learned how to adapt to my scenario, but I try to scout them, see where they're at around 7, 8 o'clock in their strut zones and set up on that. And you've said it several times. It's like, I would rather be where that turkey is going than try to get him right off the roost and then have him evade me.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't chase the bird. Go to where he wants to.
If you're hunting in mountains, if you're hunting in the mountains or you're hunting in deep timber, you can get away with that. You can get away with hunting on the roost, and if he evades you, you can move around on him because you got cover. Right. But when you're hunting Midwest, you're hunting field birds, you're hunting stuff like this where there's so much field, and you're just hunting the outside corners of the field, you can't.
Yeah.
So there's no way. But the good thing about field birds is that if you know where their strut zone is, don't worry about the roost. Even if he's 200 yards away, if he's 200 yards down the, you're like, man, he's a long way. Yeah, but eventually
he's going to get there.
He's coming, and so be there waiting on him. And, but we get mind locked into thinking, well, we got to go. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, sometimes get as close as you can. Because that does sometimes roosted is roasted, but it's not all the time because you can be sitting there and you can watch him in a tree and then all of a sudden he flies that way or he flies that way or he flies that way, and he's not pitching straight down.
Yeah. Very scenario based, just like whitetails. I mean, you got to adapt to your situation, but I think, and I may have heard this from you, man, but it's kind of hard when you have somebody like your whole family's been turkey hunting. And you learn all these habits. I think this is from Tom Kelly, actually. I remember him mentioning this about it's really hard for a younger guy to learn from his parents or his granddad or uncle, whoever it may be, teaching you to turkey hunt and break your mold into being your own turkey hunter.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. Now, like I said, me and my dad, we hunt similar way he did. He's getting up in age now, and he can't run a gun like he used to. But he's more of a blind hunter now, and that's understandable. People get. That's awesome. We'll get that.
At least he's still out there.
We'll get there someday. But like even in our calling, I've always been more of an aggressive caller than he has. He's not because his generation taught yelp 3 times, yelp a couple times, cluck, wait.
Yeah.
And they were all believing this call shy stuff. And I know a lot of people in Kentucky are hardcore believing in call shy. I don't believe in call shy. I think it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But call shy, if you don't know what that is, somebody says, well, when you call to that turkey, it educates them. They know that's not real. And if you call to them for a season, they won't come in.
Right.
All this, and it makes them call shy. So in other words, and especially like this week, you can see where people would believe call shy, because when you call to them, boom, they're, but it's not call shy. It's turkey behavior. They've been doing this for centuries. It's just turkey behavior. Mm-hmm. But we're used to yap, 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 and they gobble and they come and get shot. And when they don't do that,
what did I do wrong?
What did I do wrong? Because they did that the first of the season. Mm-hmm. See, from the opening day of your turkey season to now, you would swear up and down, oh, yeah, they're call shy. We've been calling these turkeys. They're out of here. We call to them and they turn around and leave. No, it's not call shy. It's human shy when they see you and when they get spooked. But it's also turkey behavior, because they're locked down with the hens, and the hens get jealous and they take him off and he's going off. Mm-hmm. And so it's not call shy. It don't make no sense. Call shy don't even make no sense. It makes no earthly sense whatsoever. They're saying when you call to a turkey, okay, and you're on public land or you're on private, whatever, but you're on public, because I know we got a lot of guys on public. You're out there, you're yelping to this turkey. He hears that call, and then when he goes there and he don't see you because you've already moved, or maybe it's before season or whatever, then he's educated.
Yeah.
He's not coming back because he expects to see it. How many times do you think in 4 seasons that we have where turkeys talk? They talk in spring, summer, fall, winter. You go out there in July, if you got under a turkey's roost, you know what they'd be doing? Nap, 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 tree calling. They'd be doing all that in 100 degrees outside. They do it all year long. But how many times do you think a gobbler in the spring hears a hen 400-500 yards away, and she's just on a mission going somewhere, and he don't see her?
Right.
What, does he leave the country?
No,
they hear stuff like that all the time. Mm-hmm. But it's human shot. When gobblers shut up, when you can't get them gobbling, whatever, a lot of that's human shot. Walking across open fields, not being careful.
A lot of guys, public land, that just drive a truck up to a road and get a box call out. Yop.
And it's not that. It's not call shot. It's human shot, and it's pressure shot. But if you will just sound decent, sound real, and you'll hunt smart, you ain't going to get no call shot. But Dad believed in call shot. He believed in call shot. I got him to see the light after. But it goes to show you, though, because we used to argue about that, man. I mean, we used to have fights about it. No, they're call. No, that don't make no sense. No, I've been hunting all these years. I know, and I'm like, well, I don't care. That don't make a bit of sense,
Right.
And then finally, he got to calling more. He got to where he was. Yeah, I mean, I taught him to cut. He didn't even know how to cut for years. He didn't know how to cut because, because he's like, that's just too much.
Yeah.
But when he started cutting and he started getting more aggressive, then he started getting more gobblers that, it answer him. And so it's a mentality thing. Mm-hmm. It is. It's a mentality thing. It's like you got to break that, because when you get in your mind that you got to have something. Now, I'm not a decoy person. We've hunted with decoys this week because we got field birds, and he said they respond to decoys here, or they did.
Well, they did, yeah.
And so I said, well, hey, after the first couple of days, I said, we got to do something. So we started getting the decoys out, but I ain't a blind person, and I'm not a decoy person.
My other buddies that were here from Virginia were the same way. Like, I had them down, and I've been very fortunate this year. I've really tried to expand my knowledge of turkey hunting, and having you and having them come down, and they're the same way. I was like, I want to kill a turkey without a decoy. I don't, I want to do this, a different way and expand. And man, after day 2, they're like, all right, you get that decoy out, because this ain't cut.
Well, no, because and that's what I told you. I said no, and you said, well, that's what they said. I said you got to, and then them gobblers kept coming to that one corner a couple of days, and I said, okay. Yesterday I was like, all right, I don't want to do this. I hate doing this, but we're just going to go down and pop that blind up, because there's no place to set up.
They've been strutting in the same place for days on end.
And they didn't today, though.
Of course not.
They didn't today, but I said, we're going to have to put that blind up. I said, that's all there is to it. I said, it
drove both of us nuts. We're hearing them gobble their heads off, and I'm like,
I know. I wanted to bail out there too, but there's no way to walk across there without getting busted. unless you went all the way around. Then by the time you got around, now what if we'd have left the blind though? Here's an example. That gobbler was in front of us pretty close when we was in the blind this morning. You know, he was within 100 yards. He was just over at Crest, and we're like, oh yes, finally, you know.
Yeah.
Because he was search gobbling.
He was hot.
Yeah, he was gobbling, looking for me. And then saw his head pop up, then it went back down. And then, man, the next time he gobbled, he went back down the field, and I said, well, what the heck? And then he went all the way around the left, come all the way back around, and we saw him way over here, and he got up there and strutting, and we saw, and like 30 minutes later, he's way over here. Now, what if we'd have bet out of that blind and went over here and crawled over there? By the time we got over there,
he'd
been way over here. See, and that's the problem with field turkeys. You just don't know, you know, you just, there's just no way to get around on them when it's flat. And it's, now if you got field that's got some rolling stuff, you might get away with more, but
it's real. The layout of this farm that we've been hunting is just, it's just really tough.
There's all kinds of turkeys, man. I've enjoyed it because we've been on gobblers every day. But again, it's the lockdown. Now, these same turkeys, 2 weeks from now, if you could hunt, it'd be totally different. Just I don't know how to explain it. It just is. And so I'm looking forward to the next 3 weeks.
I guarantee it. Man.
I'm looking forward to the next 3 weeks and getting. But I ain't doing this no more in Kentucky on this last. No, I'm coming. I told him, I said, I hate to take your opening day from you, but I'm taking it. I'm coming opening day next year.
No, it will be all right. I'm sure I've got plenty of time. We only get 2 tags, so it's.
I said I'm coming opening day next year. I ain't doing this no because I hate going to a state.
I felt bad, man. I mean, there's no reason for me to feel bad, but at the same time, I hate to see you come out here and us not tag.
But I told you in February. I said, "Oh God, man. Because usually I don't even travel during the lockdown. I usually stay home because
I don't blame you. I understand now.
Well, no, when I say stay home, I hunt around the house because I know them turkeys. I kind of know
where they're going,
you know, and I kind of know sort of how to hunt them, even when they're acting stupid. So I pretty much stay home, you know, and my birthday falls right on the 25th of April. So I had, in 31, to show you how this ain't coincidence, I've turkey hunted for 31 birthdays straight in some of the best places and some of the best farms, some of the best, it's public, private, whatever, 31 years. And I still have not killed a turkey on the 25th.
That speaks volume.
I've killed them on the 24th. I've killed them on the 26th, but I've never killed them. I've killed turkeys in lockdown. I have. In fact, my biggest gobbler I ever got, in Tennessee there, 27-pound 1.5 spurs, 2 11-inch beards. I shot him on the 23rd, so it was in the lockdown, but he never gobbled.
Yeah.
You can watch a hunt on YouTube. He never said a word.
Yep.
He just.
Sometimes they're like that, man.
He just comes slipping in.
My second turkey this year was like that. I was sitting there cutting it up, hanging out, just talking about hunting, and then I turned my head and our big old whitehead gobbler just creeping in.
And then we messed with the jerks history.
Oh yeah. I nicknamed these 2 turkeys. Me and my buddies that were here last week, we should have doubled on them, and a helicopter messed it up for us. We finally got them we worked these birds for 3 or 4 hours, gobbling their heads off. And probably within 30 yards of us, but it was so thick where they were. So we finally break them to come out to the field. Setup was absolutely terrible. Yeah. We're laying on our bellies under a cedar, and we both are on. I could have killed one, but I didn't want to just shoot one, with them being here. I wanted him to shoot, and we tried to double. I thought it was going to work, but that helicopter came over, pushed them back into the woods. They came out. They didn't see anything, and they were like, no, I don't think so. And then we messed with them again and again. And they'd gobble at us, but they wouldn't come in. So we nicknamed them the Jerks. And they've lived up to their name. I took Matt. I'm like, maybe we can get even with these guys. We've seen them, but they didn't gobble at all. They just weren't.
Well, they were just that, but they were, but they had a hen. They had a hen. Mm-hmm. They had a hen out there, and they just locked down. Again, it's not coincidence. I've seen it too many times. Now, talking about the 4 phases, the first phase, I would say, and of course you can't hunt it in Kentucky, but if you can hunt a state, say the last of March to about April to, 14th, 15th, man, that's some good stuff right there. But I'd say the early season, like the last of March all the way to say the 10th of April, that's some really good hunting. I mean, the hens have not got locked down with the gobblers yet. The gobblers are still grouped up a little bit maybe. So when you call one in, sometimes you call two or three in.
Yeah.
Gobbler yelping works good. Jake yelping, challenging the gobbler. And then you'll have that midpoint of the season, phase 2, which is, I think I say about April the 10th on to about April the 20th. Them 10 days I think is really good. In fact, I killed 2 in 1 week.
Yeah,
I killed 2 in 1 week.
You just don't see the hens with them.
No,
it's almost like all the hens are together,
and then it's all the gobblers. Bam. Yeah, and it's just like bam right there, and it gets right there in the middle of April, and it's just like and man, when that happens, it's tough. It's just tough. I told him today, I said I wouldn't do it because I'm going to be turkey hunting because you still want to be out there in the lockdown. Don't let the lockdown discourage you.
We easily could have killed. I mean, it just didn't work out.
You still want to be out there, okay? Because you never know. Because there's a lot of things that can happen. Even in the toughest part of turkey season, coyotes could bust up a hen and a gobbler, and you walk in there at 8, 9 o'clock, and the gobbler's
looking for her.
Yeah, he's got messed up, or maybe another hunter on public lands busted them up, and you go in there 2 hours later, hit the call, and he's looking, he acts like a late season gobbler. So you never know, or maybe you roosted a turkey, get underneath him, or maybe you know where a strut zone's at, you get there, so you still want to be out there hunting. But I'll tell you what. I told him, I said, I wish I could hibernate from about April the 20th to about May the 2nd and just not wake up. And then that way I don't have to think I missed turkey season and just, and get up and just start hunting. But, no, better days are ahead. So if you're watching this and you live in a state that still got a week or 2, 3, 4 week season, good days are ahead.
Absolutely. I wanted to just get in for some of our guys, like on some calling mistakes. I know I really was looking forward to getting your opinion on what I was doing wrong with my calling. And I think that a lot of us, that might not have somebody to teach them are very guilty of what I've been doing for a long time. And that is, I'm just going to reenact, me calling. And generally, I think if you go to any outdoor show and listen to somebody strike up a glass call or a slate call, it sounds something like this. Yep. And you do the same 8 or 10 notes. Yep.
Every bit.
You need to cut it up. You need to do a couple notes and mix it up. You cannot repeat what you're doing.
No.
And you really harped on it.
Yeah.
Do 1, 2, 3 note yelps.
Oh yeah.
Instead of 5 to 8 or whatever.
I break like the yelp of the turkey is what all the turkey hunters like. But I mean, you soft calling is going to kill you a lot more turkeys, like purrs, clucks, whines, bubble clucks, all that stuff. That's going to kill you a lot more turkeys than yelping. But we all get turkeys fired up by yelping, all right? Because yelping is, hey, here I am. I'm over here. But I break yelping down in 3 categories. I break it down in assembly yelps, and this is what that's what a hen does when she's trying to get a gobbler, or she's trying to get other turkeys together. You'll hear this a lot in the fall. And she'll it's like 25, 30 notes, but that's an assembly up. She's calling them to them. Now, if gobblers are kind of silent, a lot of times up in the day or in the morning, you can assembly up and get 25, 30 notes and maybe get him fired up. But you don't want to be doing that constantly. You're just doing that just enough to get him to gobble. Mm-hmm. But then I break it down into walking yelps. Now, walking yelps are deadly. I mean, it's a deadly, but this is under your breath, but you got a mouth call. It's very, very soft. You do it under your breath. And it's just imagine this turkey up here walking. Okay. She's out in the field picking around and she's walking through the woods. She's walking down a hard ridge and she's going, yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 yep. It's just she's walking, and But then the most deadliest yelp, I think, is the 2, 3 note yelps. That yep, yep, yep.
And it's hard. It is so hard for me to break.
But it's like yep, 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 because that's what she does all day long. Mm-hmm. She's just yep, 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 yep. You can break it up into sequences like yep, 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 yep. Meow, 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 meow. I ain't got a mouth call with me. I'll show you. But meow, 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 meow. It's just doing that, and that's that soft stuff. But purrs and clucks and and the whine. If you don't know what the whine is, you just I got a video on that. But the whine is a deadly call. I mean, these calls is what's going to kill your turkeys. Striking gobblers with yelps is fine, but you're right though. But people, I can tell a hunter from a turkey in less than probably 2 minutes on public land or private. If another turkey hunter's on there, if I hear yelping down here and it's yelp, 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 and then down here, down the ridge, yelp, 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 and then down the ridge, yelp, 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 I know it's a hunter.
Same.
Because now if I know it's a hunter, you know, the turkeys, even though they may gobble at it because it's a shot gobble, they sort of, it's not that they know that's a turkey call. They don't go up and, oh, that's a turkey. I know what that is. No, they don't. No, they're not. Don't.
Woodhaven.
Don't give them that much credit, but they know that that's not what they're used to hearing.
Right.
So they don't gobble a lot of times. But if you're going down that same ridge, you know, if you're going down that same holler and you're going meow, 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 and then you go on down the ridge 50, 60, 70, 80 yards, you go meow, meow, meow. Well, you know, if you're just mixing it up like that, that's more natural. And on finicky turkeys, especially if they've been pressured, like public places, man, that's
changing up your call.
Changing it up.
Using a different
be
call.
a turkey and be, imagine in your head, you know, just imagine that hen out there. And that's why you see a lot of these, you know, professional callers use their hands, because in their mind, they're trying to be that hen. Now, I don't use my hands. I was just doing that for a demonstration. But when I'm hunting, like we was hunting around fields this week, in my mind, while I'm hunting, I'm thinking about how to call. Well, I know it's a field. They're feeding. They're just out there picking around. So they're not going to be out there in the field going, yap, 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 yap. No, they're going to be, well, do it. You know, they're just doing that stuff there. That's what's natural. Right. And then sometimes she might, yap, 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 you know, yap, 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 you know, and then, so it's just, wherever you're at, you've kind of got to just think and read a turkey how he's gobbling, you know, just, he'll tell you if he's, man, I really thought that in this morning was, I was getting excited because he was search gobbling. Now, search gobble is like when you call to a turkey and he gobbles, that could be a shot gobble, just like an owl, even though you're a hen, or he could just be telling you, hey, here I am. Hey, I'm over here. Come over here. Okay. Many times them turkeys are not callable. Sometimes they are. But the ones that are very callable is the ones when you're calling he gobbles, but then you go quiet and he gobbles again. Yeah. And then he gobbles again. And then he gobbles again. When he starts gobbling on his own without you calling, what's he doing?
Looking for
you. Hey, where you at? Mm-hmm. Where you at?
And I love what you had said. You know, he told me, he's like, I will count and let him gobble 3 or 4 times before I respond to him. Yep. And then you give him just a couple after he gobbles 4 times. All right. Now, you said it might take 1 minute. It might take 5 or 10 minutes, but I'll give him that opportunity. Yep. And that's when you know, okay, well, if you keep talking to me, well, then I'll come to you.
Well, what it is, I compare it to you, when you call and he gobbles, which is what most turkey hunters do, then you are having a conversation with him. See, you're calling and then he's responding. But if you'll reverse it and then you'll let him gobble, and then 3, 4, 5 times, and then you call. When I say call, I'm not talking about getting up there and yelping and hollering. I'm talking about just yep, 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 yep. Yep, 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 and shut up. And then he gobbles. They count 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. See, now he's having a conversation with you. In other words, you're that hen. This is what, think about it. You're that hen that's going, yeah, I hear you. Yeah. But you're coming over here. Mm-hmm. I'm not coming over there. If you come over here. Okay. But if you're sitting there, meow, 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 and he gobbles, and meow, 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 and he gobbles, he's saying, hey, come over here. But if you let him gobble 4 or 5 times, and then you just, don't act interested. Just act enough interested to keep him knowing you're there. But don't act like you're going to run in there to him. Right. And sometimes they can't stand it. Hang up. That's when they hang up. And I've killed so many turkeys like that just by letting them count them 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. And then, and I've seen them break. And another tactic you can use, and I thought it was going to work because I tried it this morning. I really thought, well, I'm going to try this because I've tried everything. I've tried everything.
Been great to see.
You can do what's called pick a spot. And this is where you have a spot. Maybe you're sitting in a blind like we were, or maybe you're sitting, and these turkeys are hung up. They're hung up on this part of the field. They're hung up on this ridge or whatever the case. And you're just going to freaking go crazy. You're just going to get a slate call out, mouth call out. You're going to sound like 3 or 4 hens, and you're just going, bap, 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 bap. Get a box call, bap, 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 bap. Just go crazy. Get aggressive. Bap, 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 bap. Just sound like a whole wad of hens down there, and then just go quiet and don't say nothing. Drop the calls and count. I give it about 30 to 35, 40 minutes. When you go quiet and you just made all this racket and he's gobbled, and then all of a sudden you go quiet.
Oh, and he cut you off like 4 times.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
many.
It was like,
now it didn't happen today because I believe he got a hen, but many times they'll slip right in there to that spot where you called
quiet
because you picked that spot where you want him to be. You know, or this call works great. This tactic works great when, let's say, you need to move that turkey. Let's say, I don't know, here's when I use it the best. And this is when it's worked for me, the pick a spot. When he's on the neighbors and I can't hunt over there.
Yeah.
He's on the fence line and I can't hunt. So what I'll do, and I did this last year, I was right up against the fence line and he was over on the neighbors. I couldn't get him, in 2023, I couldn't get this turkey at all. Cause I couldn't go over there legally, couldn't. So I actually, you don't want to be out against the fence because he's just going to be coming to the fence and just strut back and forth. You want him to cross the fence.
Right.
So I actually walked away from this turkey. I walked away from him about 100 yards, back away from the fence. And I just went flipping nuts. I called till I was almost out of breath. He just gobble. And then I just sit there, that spot, 100 yards away, went quiet. And about 45 minutes later, here he come, and I took him home. But see, I had to pick that spot where I wanted that turkey to come. Yeah. Does it work all the time? No, it didn't work this morning, but it works a lot of the time. And see, that's the thing. A lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, but I tried this." Nothing's going to work all the time.
Right?
Nothing. Nothing is going to work all the time. But I want to have that in my head, at least to use it and try, because you never know.
You want to be a more successful turkey hunter? You got to have a bag full. Just like with whitetail hunting. Yep. I mean, all you guys, all of our regular listeners, I mean, what do we have different tree stands for? Because, every set of woods calls for a different tool out of the toolbox. And it's just like, it's a perfect, analogy for that, for turkey
absolutely.
hunting.
And it is. And there's a lot of similarities in between the two. But I've heard people say, well, if you're a good deer hunter, you'll be a good turkey hunter. And that's not true. But usually a good turkey hunter will be a good deer hunter. But not all good deer hunters are good.
Why do you think that is?
I think because with deer hunting, you're already expecting your goal of sitting there on a good funnel, good bottleneck, good sign. You're going to sit and be patient, and you're just going to you're reading sign. And this is the biggest thing right here. Whitetail hunters love videos, whether it's Dan Infalt, myself, because I do deer videos too. Whether it's whoever, they'll watch videos on how to read sign, buck beds, rubs, scrapes. They like sign. Whitetail hunters love sign, but turkey hunters don't. They could care less about it because most turkey hunters, they don't care about sign. You know why? Because they're hunting with their ears. Right. They're just going out there and they don't think about sign. But if you
is that the difference between like woodsmanship aspect?
Absolutely, because when you're just hunting with your ears and you're just going through their calling. And you're and when nothing gobbles, you're ready to go back to Hardee's at 8:30 and say, well, there ain't no turkeys around. I ain't no turkeys around. Well, I ain't whatever. But if you'll find sign, well, listen, it's like my dad said to me years ago. Because when I first started turkey hunting, I'd get discouraged if we didn't hear turkeys. Yeah. Like I'd go, I
think a lot of people do.
We do, because we're hunting with our ears. And he wouldn't get discouraged because he's an old fall hunter, an old fall turkey hunter and all that stuff. And he knew how to read turkey signs. And one day I remember I was just young. I was probably, 18, 19, just been turkey hunting a couple of years. And he said, I got real discouraged. And he said, look, you see that? He said, you see that? Look at all this scratching in here. And I'm like, yeah, but they're not gobbling. He's like, A real foot made that scratch.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like deer. A real foot made that scratch. A real turkey, that's a turkey track, right?
Right.
A real gobbler was standing in that track. Okay, it's muddy. We only had rain yesterday or the day before.
Exactly.
So 2 days ago, he used to give me his paddle. He was right here. Now that turkey didn't leave the county.
Yeah.
He's here somewhere.
Right.
But if you know where they're at and you know how to read sign, he'll make you a better turkey hunter. So I think whitetail hunters, we get obsessed with sign, funnels, rubs, all this stuff, and we set up on it. Turkey hunters, them same deer hunters will go out, yak on a turkey call, and if they don't quote right, if they're not right, it sucks. No turkeys around. Need to shut the season down. Kentucky ain't got no turkeys. Need to go to one bird limit because there ain't no turkeys around. I mean, I've heard all this stuff. You know, oh, we ain't got no turkey. We ain't shut the season down for a couple of years. There ain't no turkeys. We used to hear turkeys. Nah, ain't no turkeys. Turkey's still there. You know why they don't gobble as much? One, they've moved a lot because of habitat change. City people coming into the country, knocking down trees,
Yep.
and and buying up land. You know, logging, all this stuff. But a lot of it's pressure. There's more turkey hunters out there than there used to be.
Yeah.
Man, when I first started turkey hunting 31 years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of turkey hunters like they are today.
And there's a lot more good turkey hunters.
And there's a lot more
of YouTube.
Yeah, there's a lot more good turkey hunters and
knowledge.
And is that a good thing? Well, there's pros and cons to everything. There's pros and cons to everything. There's like the pros of it is turkey hunting looks pretty good for the future.
Yeah.
And
do you think it's going to get better?
I think so because
there's more people that care about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I sure do.
Now the cons of it is people who's enjoyed it and they've kind of had it to themselves.
Yeah.
Well,
there's sure.
You know, it's like it makes it harder on us, you know, especially if you hunt public. You know, if you're just hunting public land, it makes it harder because you used to pull up to the gate and be one truck there. For years. Now there's like 4, you know,
beat everybody.
And it's like, oh, what is going on? And it makes it harder. So I don't think a lot of these, now I'm sure there's places in every state where the population is kind of dwindled because that's just the cycle of life.
Right.
But I just don't think the turkey population in America is that bad.
No.
But everybody, because they don't hear turkeys and because they don't work right, that's the first thing they go to.
Yeah.
Well, we just, you know, and it's not, I just don't think it's the case. And I had a guy just a few weeks ago when Virginia opened up. He's in the service station. I go in there to get a drink and get some food. And he's in there camouflage. And he looks at me and he's like, I didn't know him, but, you know, he saw me in camo. And he like, hey, here any? I said, you know, I'll tell you, ain't no turkey right here no more. Are you kidding me? I didn't say that, but I'm going, we got more flipping turkeys around here than I've ever seen in my life. Right. You know, just, I mean, in our part of Virginia. And he's like, ain't no turkeys. I tell you, there's ain't no turkeys right here. But based on his experience, now you can take another guy that goes 4 miles down the road to another farm and they're just loaded.
Yeah. I've heard the same thing. And I'm like, man, I've seen more turkeys this fall than I've ever seen, you know?
Yeah. Well, okay. So if you see them, if there's 50, 60 in a flock in the fall, just because you don't see them, it's
right. What do you think? They all got wiped out?
No. But that's the excuse people use. And what happens is, and this is my opinion, and we're getting off on a side trail, but I feel like it's true. So a lot of these states will go to one bird limit. Okay. You know, we'll go from 3 to 2 or 2 to 1, and everybody's happy about it. We can only kill one bird because it's going to save our population. You know what's going to happen? Let me tell you what's going to happen. First of all, you ain't never getting that other bird back. I don't care if the population soars. You ain't never getting that bird back. Because once the state takes it, they won't give it back. No. You can forget it. You know, they may say they will, but it never happens. 2, a lot of birds ain't going to be checked in.
That's right. You're absolutely
now,
right.
Should we abide by the law? Absolutely. But a lot of these guys that's got their vacation.
Let's be honest. A lot of hardcore turkey hunters are rednecks. I mean, they like. I'm not trying to discount.
What you're doing is you're making more poaching.
Yeah.
You know, you're making more. In fact, I ain't gonna say who it is, but I had a guy. I had a guy in Tennessee. Seriously, you know, I don't know him very good, but when Tennessee went from 3 to 2 last year.
Yeah.
You know, we're sitting we're talking in a restaurant, and he said, "Well, I'll tell you what." He said, They can take all they want. But he said, I only get 2 weeks to hunt. You get 2 weeks, and that's all I got. And I work 50 hours a week. He's like, I'll kill 3. And that's up to him. And I hope,
Yes,
you
sir.
know, but my point is, you're making it more of easy to break the law.
Yeah.
And I don't still think it's that bad of a shape. I really don't. I just don't think it's that bad of a shape. If anything, I think if anybody's in Kentucky listening or wherever, I think you ought to do this. Counties that maybe are suffering, just go to one in that county. You can only kill one turkey in that zone. And then maybe if you want to kill another one,
move somewhere else.
Go somewhere else in the state and move it to another zone.
I've always looked at it like this. Like if I had you down, I wanted to try to just take 2 birds from this farm, 2 from that.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I don't want to thin out the population.
Oh, no.
But you're not hurting it by taking 2 times out of,
No.
I
take, I've got the farm I have, the property I have where I've shot a lot of turkeys around home. I take 2 off of it a year.
Yeah.
And I could let, because you can kill 3.
And it's always been good.
I could kill 3.
Yeah.
And I could kill 3 in a heartbeat. But I've taken 1 off of there this year.
Yeah. Have respect for your area.
I'll probably go home this week. Next, I'll probably kill another one. But after 2, I won't. I very seldom even, kill a 3rd turkey. Now I could, but I travel a lot and I don't get to hunt around home anyway. But I killed 2 off that property, and it's stayed pretty good for all these years.
Another good thing you can start doing is trapping. I think that's one of the biggest, things that, and this is just my opinion, and I could be wrong, but if you look back in the history, fur bearing, furs were worth a lot more money. There was a lot more people trapping. There was a lot less raccoons, a lot less coyotes, foxes, everything. And these are all nest predators. And we've got, I think it's a lost art. In my opinion, trapping is a ton of fun if you're able to do it. If you're not, I understand fully. But if you have the ability and the land to do it and permission, and you care about turkeys, you should be out there trapping.
Anything that can help, and stop cutting everything and making it look pretty. Everybody wants to cut their farms down to make them look nice and green. Don't do that. Give them cover. Give stuff cover. And either you want a manicured farm or you want a hunting farm.
Right.
So a lot of people, go in and brush hog stuff and go in and do stuff, and then it just takes their nesting away. It takes the birds away. It takes this away. Then they'll complain they ain't got no turkeys. But I think there's a lot that can be done. I think that organizations like Turkeys for Tomorrow and WTF, I think they try to do the best they can. Or I hope they are. But turkeys are still out there. It's just a hard week right now. But just hold on, because it's going to get better. It will get better. And I'm looking forward to it, because but I usually don't suffer this much. I went to Missouri. This is pretty bad, but I went to Missouri for 3 days, didn't kill one, got close a couple of times, got really close, but just didn't have the time to stay, and then I come here and get smacked here. So I'm going back home. My tail tucked between my legs, and act like I'm supposed to be a professional turkey hunter. Really? Jeez, I don't think so. But you watch. Unless something stupid happens, or it's weird, they're about to get death. They're about to get. It's all about to change, and it's crazy, because every year on my channel or on my Facebook, I may go like April, post 2 or 3 gobblers. And then in May, it's like gobble. And people's like, man, you're people say, man, you're finishing well. And I'm like, I always finish well. Sometimes I just don't start out good, but I always finish well, because it's just, that's the magic of the late season. So break it down into 4 seasons, practice your calling. Don't keep doing the same yelping. Don't start doing the same clucking. Don't do the same stuff. Mix it up. Learn different strategies, like pick a spot, learn different strategies like, walking to a gobbler and then walking back, all these different strategies that you can use, and just expand your knowledge and make you a lot better turkey hunter in the end.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all tuning in and checking out. Hopefully you're still listening. Follow Matt at Dale's Outdoors.
Dale Outdoors.
Dale Outdoors.
Dale Outdoors on YouTube. Dale Outdoors on Facebook. Dale Outdoors on Instagram. And follow me there and subscribe to the channel. And like I said, my channel's a little different, but it works, and it's my lane, and I try to stay in it. But you'll come over, and all you whitetail hunters, hopefully we can put some nice deer down this fall. I've been bow hunting for, oh Lord, ever since I've been 13. So, been bow hunting a long time, gun hunting ever since I've been 11. So love the deer hunt. Yeah, I'm very passionate about deer hunting. But the older I get, I don't know. It changes as you get older.
Yeah.
It really does. When you're younger, you just want to kill everything.
Yeah. Like your words, you were mad at them.
Oh yeah. I tell them, I was like, I'm not mad at deer like I used to be. I really ain't, but I'm still mad at turkeys. I'm mad, and I'm more mad this week.
Oh yeah.
I'm mad at turkeys. I'm
mad at them too.
I'm ready to kill. I'm ready to kill their ancestor. I'm ready to kill their cousins. I'm ready to go to Tennessee and kill their cousins and their uncles and their aunts. I'm ready to go to Virginia. I'm ready to go to Ohio and New York and wherever, and I'm ready to go kill a bunch of turkeys. But I'm still mad at turkeys. But no, as you get older, you mature. I'm just not mad at deer anymore like I used to be. Now, I still like them for the freezer, and I still like to hunt a big deer. If I can get around where a big deer is at, I enjoy the chase. But yeah, come on over, Dale Outdoors, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Follow me there, and Lord willing, and he ain't returned, and we're alive and well, I may come out and bow hunt a little bit this fall with you, but then next opening day of Kentucky season, which falls on the same day Virginia starts too, but I'm going to skip Virginia opening day, and I'm coming here because I've got a crow to pick.
Amen.
With these turkeys.
We'll have some fun, man. Until next time, guys. Appreciate you all checking us out. We'll catch you next time.
See you.